Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Sky 5 is live over a Granville County crash involving this truck about to be towed away right here. I'm Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. We're asking questions as to why there's such a heavy police presence around this scene.
And stepping out the door, it feels very comfortable, but we will see things creeping back up closer to steamy a little later in the week with a chance of some showers and storms. I'll show you.
Well, that's another story we're following from Granville County. The sheriff will provide an update on the escape of a 17-year-old accused of murder. We'll be giving you an update this morning on the charges that he is facing. And today is the first day of the fall semester for students at St. Augustine's University. How many students the school is planning to have this year after a delayed start to the new school year? Thanks so much for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I am Chris Lemongood, getting your morning started right. We have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner to talk to you about the beautiful fall-like weather you woke up to today.
Yeah, so nice out there. We'll take a live look over downtown Raleigh. You can see the trees are moving a little bit. It is going to be a bit breezy for this afternoon. We're going to see all this sunshine. We've had a nice drop in our humidity, and it's going to keep on dropping. Our dew point sitting right now at 54, which feels very comfortable, and that's a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. In the 50s this time of year feels very nice. Mid-60s temperature-wise, and we're seeing mid-60s from the Triangle down toward Fayetteville, Clinton, and Southern Pines. 59 right now in Roxborough. This time tomorrow, temperatures could be significantly cooler. It's already a lot cooler than it was yesterday, anywhere from around 7 or 8 to as much as 10 to 13 degrees cooler than yesterday. We'll see another pretty decent drop by tomorrow morning, too. This is a look at our wind speed. So breezy at times this afternoon, some winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's not enough to cause any damage, but it is enough that you'll notice the wind. Temperatures feeling very comfortable during the afternoon in the upper 70s. A little warmer getting into the weekend, and we get back to a chance of thunderstorms as well, but it won't be a washout this weekend. I'll show you coming up. Brett?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic. It is 8:02 here on your Tuesday morning. We do have a lot of slowdowns out there, lots of congestion as people get back to work after Labor Day. Let's start with what it looks like out there on the Beltline right now. About a 13-minute delay if you're trying to get from 87 all the way over to Wade Avenue, especially that slowdown right there near Capitol Boulevard, New Bern Avenue, between New Bern and Capitol. It really does start to back up, so give yourself 13 extra minutes, maybe even more. This is our live look, 440 at Capitol Boulevard, and you can see up there in the top right-hand corner where all those cars are. That's where that slowdown is there on 440 westbound. Let's take a look at the southern side of Raleigh 40 westbound. It has a 11-minute delay as you approach from 40, trying to get on 40 westbound from 440 all the way over to US 1. 11 minutes, so lots of slowdowns out there, lots of congestion as people really do head back to work, head back to school. Do have one serious crash that we want to tell you about is off Maynard Road and Chatham Street. A little bit of red on our sensors there on Maynard, or on Chatham rather, so we're working to learn exactly what's going on out there, and we'll keep you updated on that one. And then a new crash that did just pop up on Glenwood Avenue near T.W. Alexander Drive. No delays on that one.
All right, today we will learn more about how a 17-year-old facing murder charges escaped from a juvenile detention center in Butner. The Granville County Sheriff's Office will hold a press conference at 3 p.m. today. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the Granville County Sheriff's Office. Kelsey, authorities have not told us exactly how Cessnick was able to get away.
We're expecting to receive an update here at the Granville County Sheriff's Office in just a few hours. And the number one question we're asking right now is, how was that person able to escape? There's still a lot we don't know right now, but here's what we do know. 17-year-old Zane Cessnick was recaptured around 10 o'clock last night after an 8-hour search. He was found at the intersection of Range Road and Roberts Chapel Road in Butner. That's less than 10 minutes away from the Dillon Juvenile Detention Center where he was in custody. He was indicted last year on murder charges. He's accused of killing a 71-year-old man. Sky 5 flew over the detention center yesterday as investigators searched for Cessnick. 3 law enforcement agencies were working to find him. WRAL reached out to his family yesterday. They didn't want to comment. Since he was found only a few minutes away from the detention center, we're working to find out if he escaped on foot or if he was able to get in a car. We'll be sure to be at that news conference that's scheduled for this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Granville County.
8:04. Today, students are getting back into the classroom at St. Augustine's University. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from campus this morning. Laura, the fall semester is starting today, and that's 2 weeks later than originally planned.
Hey, Chris, good morning. Things are pretty quiet here on campus right now, but we know in a few hours, once classes begin, we'll see those students in the hustle and bustle. But yes, this fall semester starting about 2 weeks later than initially scheduled. Interim President Marcus Burgess told WRAL that they're expecting about 200 students enrolled for this semester. Taking a look at enrollment over the past few years, numbers from the National Center of Educational Statistics show 200 students would be less than 20% of St. Aug's enrollment from the previous school year. This is a dramatic change from just 2 years ago when more than 1,000 students were enrolled. The big drop comes as the university works through a series of financial issues. Earlier this month, St. Aug secured a loan that has helped ensure the school has funds to conduct classes for this semester. Burgess said St. Augustine's was working to finalize funding to pay overdue student refunds and staff salaries from last semester. And we know several events and activities are scheduled throughout the week, starting today at 6 p.m. to help get students engaged and drum up some of that enthusiasm for this new school semester. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Right now, we'll take you back to Granville County, where Sky 5 was just over a crash scene there on NC 96. And the video you're seeing right now, that scene has cleared as of just a few minutes ago. But you see what a large police presence gathered there around that black pickup truck. It has been towed away now. There were 6 law enforcement vehicles there surrounding it, facing in each direction, 3 in each direction, and traffic was slowed to 1 lane there, alternating traffic coming in and out of there. NC 96, Benton Drive, and Fairport Road are the cross streets there. If you're familiar with that area, Kelsey Coffey is on her way to that scene to ask some more questions about what exactly drew that large of a police presence to that area. And that's what we're asking law enforcement, getting a call back from them. We'll update with any new information right here in the WRAL Live Center.
Yep. Massive protests in Israel are escalating because of the killing of 6 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. Thousands of protesters are in the streets demanding Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu do more to end the war. They're also demanding the remaining hostages be set free. In his first public address since the protests started Sunday, Netanyahu promised to get revenge against Hamas for the killings. President Joe Biden said that he plans to speak again soon with Netanyahu. Biden says Netanyahu is not doing enough to reach an agreement. Today, UNC Chapel Hill leadership will give an update on the university's new emergency preparedness methods. The university's director of emergency management and planning will speak about the new efforts. Among them are improvements to the Alert Carolina notification and warning system. Those include additional ways to communicate and more frequent alerts. An update is also expected on the new emergency preparedness module of instructors. The online training is basically meant to prepare faculty and teaching assistants to respond to a crisis. This is all happening just over a year after the on-campus shooting that killed an associate professor. Covering Wake County today, school leaders are working on a student reassignment plan for the school system. Staff will look at the first draft of the school enrollment plan for next school year. This includes recommendations for 4 new schools, 3 elementary and 1 high school. Leaders will also look at the results of an SRO survey given to school employees. That was about those officers' jobs performance. It all gets started this afternoon at 2:30. Today, the Durham County Board of Elections will open its new facility. That's located on South Roxborough Street at the Shops of Hope Valley. The downtown office closed on Friday. The renovated space will consolidate all of the board's operations into a single building. Only part of the building will open today. The full building will be open by mid-October. Today, Raleigh City Council will take comments about a proposed new development on Six Forks Road. That new development would be on Computer Drive at Six Forks Road. That's just off the Beltline across the highway from North Hills. The proposal calls to rezone the property for buildings up to 20 stories tall. The public hearing is happening at the City Council meeting that starts today at 1. The first day of class for students in Wisconsin will be a somber one as they mourn the loss of a champion athlete. What neighbors are saying about the death of this gymnast in her off-campus apartment. Plus, more hotel employees in cities across America could walk out on their jobs as a strike enters its 3rd day. How the growing strike could affect your plans to travel.
Beautiful day today. We'll see a high in the upper 70s with nice low humidity, and our temperatures really do stay pleasant. However, into the weekend, we get into a better chance for showers and storms. I'll go over the timeline coming up.
looking pretty nice at Apex this morning as people are driving up, starting the day pretty comfortable too. Again, those fall-like temperatures that we're experiencing today. You are watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. You know what? I purposely this morning, Elizabeth, did not go outside with a jacket on. I wanted to feel the crisp, cool fall-like air, and I was very happy that I did that.
Yeah, I sort of, have long-ish sleeves on this morning, so I did the same. Plus, I was in a hurry. We're getting into the building at, dark 30. We take a live look at the gardens. I'm anticipating more people in the gardens maybe over the next couple of days, as lovely as it feels outside. I know the gardens are famous for azaleas, but there's always something blooming out there. Just a really nice escape from the city that's close to downtown, and it's open all the time. Of course, over the weekend, we had a lot of rain over the weekend. On Sunday in particular, that front is still lingering just off the coast, but high pressure to our north is now really taking control of the weather, feeding in some cooler, drier air. Now, another front will take shape back to the west, and that's going to roll in here late week. We'll start to feel the impacts of that by Thursday, but we'll walk through that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Right now, the whirligigs are really moving around out there in Wilson. It's gusty. We're going to see winds gusting 20 to 25 up until around, say, mid to late afternoon. We're going to continue to see this nice drop in humidity for the next couple of days, but we do have that front that comes in later in the week. It's not going to be a big soaker like we saw on Sunday, just a few scattered storms. And then behind that, we're going to see some nice cool temperatures again. So here comes this front. Warm front moves in Friday into Saturday. Temperatures will bounce back up into the low to mid 80s. Chance of storms, 30% Thursday. It's only a 20% chance on Friday. That's really low. And then just a 40% chance on Saturday. So we're just talking about mainly afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Some of the leftover effects from all the rain we saw on Sunday, still looking at minor flooding on the Neuse River at Smithfield, typically floods the town park there. By the time we get into the afternoon, that should be back down below flood stage. Tropical outlook, the National Hurricane Center just popped a new little area there, just a 10% chance that could develop in the next 7 days. We're back down to 10%. Over here in Mexico. And then just that one coming off the coast of Africa has a 40% chance. Typically, September is one of the busiest months in the tropics. A lot of the storms form in the Atlantic and then swing in either into or just off the East Coast. We've had an interesting tropical system. We had a cluster of storms there in June, then a cluster here in August. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had any tropical systems and nothing really looming. We've had a lot of dust off the Sahara, which is very dry, and it doesn't allow storms to really develop too much. And it's been pretty warm in some of the upper levels of the atmosphere as well. Speaking of warm, we warm up a little bit Friday and Saturday back into the low to mid 80s. But once Saturday's front comes through, we're cooler again. 79 Sunday, 80 on Monday, Brett.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic right now. 8:16 here on your Tuesday morning. We got delays across the board. That's what we're looking at right now. 12 minutes coming in on US 1 southbound. 6 minutes I-87 from the Knightdale area. 8 minutes on I-40 westbound right now. Even a 5-minute delay on US 1 coming in from the Apex area. Let's zoom in on a couple of crashes to tell you about. Spring Forest Road near Capitol Boulevard. Not seeing any delays on the sensors with that particular crash, but it is something to keep an eye out on. What we are seeing some delays start to build up is on US 401, Forestville Road near Blinson Street. You can see that crash there at that intersection, and then once you get past it, there's actually a pretty big delay if you're coming in 401 this morning. Give yourself 10-15 extra minutes at least coming in from that area. Over to the Durham area, we have some delays across the board on all of our major routes, and then the Durham Freeway, we are seeing those normal delays that we see this time of morning. 5-10 extra minutes so far this morning. An earlier crash has cleared, though, on the Durham Freeway. This is US 1 at Tryon Road. As you're coming in from the Apex area there at the top of the screen, you see all those cars. Once you get past Tryon Road, though, you should be in the clear.
An attempted jailbreak at the Democratic Republic of Congo's main prison has killed 129 people. I want to show you some images from this jailbreak. This took place on the west coast of Africa. And as we take a look at some of these pictures here, of the 129 people dead, some were shot in what were described as warning shots. 24 of those inmates killed that way. The rest were killed in a stampede at what is an overcrowded facility there. This is an early assessment coming in right now. There are also 59 injured people taken into care by the government there, as well as some cases of women being raped. Order has been restored since then. Part of that facility has been burned in that attempted jailbreak. But when I say it's an overcrowded facility, it is Congo's largest penitentiary, a capacity of 1,500 people. There are 12,000 inmates at that facility.
Tragic update to hear this morning. Thank you, Jeff. A woman in Selma says that she is thankful to have survived severe storms that brought down trees on her property. Joy Welton was inside her home on Garner Road over the weekend. That's when the storms ripped several trees from the ground. She says the wind was so strong, it partially lifted her car from the ground and tore off part of her roof.
Just knocked down the whole line of trees that was sitting here, and it just knocked them all over. Everything came flying. It completely engulfed my van here and took off everything up on the roof, and it just made a lot of damage. There's a lot of damage. And I'm on a fixed income, and it's a lot of manual labor. I'm just not able to do it all. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Now, it is worth noting this part of Johnston County was under a severe thunderstorm warning at the time. Students at a university in Wisconsin are mourning on their first day of class today. There was a shooting death of a national champion gymnast. 21-year-old Kara Welsh was a rising senior at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Police say that she was shot and killed in her off-campus apartment early Saturday morning. Officers arrested a 23-year-old man in connection with her death. They say Welsh knew the man. Welsh was a two-time All-American gymnast, and she won the national title in the vault in 2023. Students who live nearby say they are shocked.
Just the realization that that's me, that's my age. And like, it's not that far. We weren't that far. No, it's very eye-opening, I guess.
Her shooting death happened less than a week after a deadly shooting on another college campus. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is expected to testify in Congress next week. That'll be about how he handled COVID-19 in nursing homes. An investigation found the New York Department of Health underreported COVID deaths in nursing homes by more than 4,000. Cuomo insists that his advisory on nursing homes was consistent with guidance from the CDC. Your time is 8:20 this morning. If you're traveling today, be on alert. More hotel workers across the country might be going on strike. The union is threatening to add Hilton, Hyatt, and Marriott locations in more cities. Amy Kiley reports on how the walkouts could affect guests.
Some travelers could see service disruptions as a hotel worker strike continues for a third day. The walkout includes more than 10,000 Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt employees. The dozens of affected hotels across the country are open, but some guests have complained about reduced services. The facilities are operating with smaller staffs.
I think it's probably very limited services inside because we had very few workers cross the line and go into work. So it means management is doing all the work that we normally do.
Unite Here is the union that represents the striking workers.
They would like to be able to provide for their families and live in the same cities that they welcome guests to every day.
The union says the chains still have some pandemic-era cuts in place. For instance, some hotels don't automatically provide daily housekeeping.
It makes the work harder for the workers that remain, and it makes the hotels less appealing to guests.
In a statement, Hyatt says it looks forward to fair contract negotiations. Hilton says it's also committed to reaching a deal with the union.
And it's really hard to be in this business and smile and greet the guests when in the back of your mind, you're trying to figure out where your next meal is going to come from.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A lawsuit against the British tech mogul who died in a yacht sinking will still head to court. Hewlett-Packard Enterprises says that it is not dropping its fraud case against Mike Lynch. He died off the coast of Sicily along with 7 others last month. The company claims Lynch and his finance director committed fraud in the $11 billion sale of his software company. That's why HP is seeking $4 billion in damages. Lynch's wife will be responsible for paying the damages if the court rules in a company's favor. And Ticketmaster is under investigation in the United Kingdom. The UK is saying that it is looking into the ticket company's dynamic pricing model and its technology. That's because many people struggled to buy tickets for the Oasis comeback tour. Some people reportedly waited an hour in a queue and then paid more than double the price for tickets. The UK government will be looking into the company's technology, as I mentioned, and Ticketmaster says that event organizers set prices for concerts. This summer's blockbuster movies may have saved the box office from a major drop in revenue. The Hollywood Reporter is reporting domestic revenue this summer dropped nearly 10.5% from 2023. Hollywood labor strikes likely had the biggest effect on the box office and the slow start of the summer. However, Big hits such as Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine brought more consistency later in the season. Experts say sales may still improve into the fall with highly anticipated movies such as Beetlejuice, and Wicked hitting theaters. A Paralympian from North Carolina is coming home with gold. We are talking about the record Cary native Morgan Stickney set to get the top prize. And UNC Chapel Hill is making changes to its safety procedures. We'll talk about the update we're expected to get today.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
It is 8:26. I am Chris Lovingood on this Tuesday morning. Let's get you started with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
Sure is a nice one out there. We're going to take a live look at Apex right now. Nothing but blue skies, and it feels very comfortable. Our temperatures right now are mainly in the low to mid 60s. Lewisburg at 61, 63 in Southern Pines, 66 in Goldsboro, and 64 in Rocky Mount. Exercise forecast, yes. Outside all day. Temperatures, excuse me, will be in the mid 70s at lunchtime and after work in the upper 70s still. So such a pretty day to be outside, Brett.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic now. And we do have a lot going on out there on the roads here the day after Labor Day as folks head back to work, head back to school. A lot of crashes out there. A number of them are minor in nature at this point, but we're working to learn exactly what's causing all of them. We're going to zoom in on a couple of them. First one, there is a brand new one on I-40 westbound near Jones Sausage Road. As we zoom in there, 2 lanes blocked there, and you can see some of the delays that spread back towards the Clayton bypass. Going to keep watching that one and let you know what pops up there. And then this is another crash on 401 Forestville Road near Blinson Street that we're keeping an eye on out as well. Chris.
Again, Brett, thank you. Today at 3 o'clock, the Granville County Sheriff will give a news conference about the 17-year-old charged with murder who escaped custody. Zane Sesnick was taken back into custody around 10 o'clock last night. He was found about 5 miles from the detention center in Butner, where he escaped yesterday. Next on Fox 50, the new details that we are learning about an incident of reported road rage in Granville County. And up next on Today, Taraji P. Henson is in Studio 1A to talk about her new show, Fight Night.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now, investigators are in Granville County getting more information regarding a person shot during a road rage situation. WRAL News is on scene, staying with that story.
And a beautiful start to the morning. Our monkey meter is way down here in the comfy zone. I'll show you how long that will last.
And WRAL is also staying with the story about a 17-year-old facing murder charges back in custody this morning after investigators say he escaped from a juvenile detention center in Butner. What we've learned about the overnight manhunt and the questions surrounding his escape. Plus, the fall semester at St. Augustine's University will start today after a 2-week delay. The changes students will see on the first day of class as the university continues to work through financial issues. A lot of stories that we're following here this Tuesday morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood. We'll start the day off with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who's getting us with oh goodness, it feels like fall outside, Elizabeth.
It really does. Really comfortable out there. Temperatures are in the 60s. Our dew point is down into the 50s. Look at this wind. The whirligigs are really moving around pretty quickly out there in Wilson this morning. It is going to be breezy. We'll see winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. Now, that's not enough to cause any problems. You're just going to notice that it feels fairly breezy today. 64 is our current temperature around the triangle. Our dew point is at 54, which feels very comfortable. We will see the winds gusting, like I said, 20 to 25 possibly. It starts to taper off closer to the evening commute, but again, not enough to cause any real problems. Just, it's going to blow your hair around a little bit. 66 in Fayetteville, 65 Goldsboro, 61 in South Hill right now. So we're in the low to mid 60s, which puts us anywhere from around 5 to about 10 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. Tomorrow morning, we'll see another drop about like that. We're going to drop into the 50s. So feeling pleasantly cool tomorrow morning. Lovely afternoon with highs in the upper 70s. We stay dry until Thursday. We'll talk a little bit more about some approaching rain at the end of the week. Coming up, Brett.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's take a look at traffic right now. 8:32 here on your Tuesday morning. I'm Brett Neeson for Ken Smith, and we do have a lot that's happening out there on the roads. A lot of delays. A lot of them are our normal delays, but a lot of crashes there to tell you about. We got 4 new incidents that I want to run through real quick and let you know exactly what's happening on your commute to work here as you get back to work after Labor Day. 440 westbound, disabled vehicle that's causing some delays. We also have our normal backups as you approach Capitol Boulevard. Give yourself plenty of extra time if you use that part of the Beltline this morning. Do have a crash that happened earlier. It's a hit and run investigation at Six Forks Road, right there near Wake Forest Road. We're going to learn some more information about exactly what happened there. And then in the downtown area, a serious crash at Blunt Street near Morgan Street. I am seeing some red on our sensors there. So if you can avoid Blunt Street right now, that would be best as you head to work there in the downtown area. Pool Road near Lightner Lane as well. There's an earlier crash. No delays on the sensors on that particular crash, but it's another one that I'll keep an eye on and let you know if anything changes. Here's 48 Wade Avenue, and lots of cars out there on 40 right there near Wade. So give yourself plenty of extra time if you have to use 40 to get to work this morning. Chris.
Brett, thank you. Breaking news, a person was shot and then crashed their vehicle in a road rage incident. This happened on NC 96 near Benton Drive in Granville County. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. Kelsey, you just happened to be there on a different story today, but you learn more as you are now in front of the sheriff's office. What have you learned?
Well, Chris, right now, deputies here at the Granville County Sheriff's Office are investigating. Let's take you straight to a Sky 5 video from about 30 minutes ago so you can see what was happening there on Benson Drive. You can see deputies surrounding a black car. And new information we've learned from the Sheriff's Office in the past 20 minutes. They say a person driving a Mustang was driving too close to a black truck and rear-ended it. The driver got out of his truck just to check for any damages, and that's when shots were fired. The person driving the truck was shot and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and that other driver has fled the scene, and deputies are still searching for them. So we'll be sure to keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Granville County.
Certainly more context on that story. Thank you, Kelsey. Today, we will learn more about how a 17-year-old facing murder charges escaped custody. Just before 11 last night, authorities announced that they had recaptured Zane Cesnik here on your screen. He was on the run for 8 hours. Cesnik escaped the C.A. Dillon Juvenile Detention Center at around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. He was indicted last year on a murder charge. He's accused of killing a 71-year-old Wake County man last June. People in Granville County were on alert all day yesterday. As officials said, Cesnik had a history of unpredictable behavior. Their words. Investigators say Cesnik was captured at a rural intersection nearly 5 miles from the detention center. The Granville Sheriff's Office will hold a press conference today. That is at 3 o'clock. It's the first day of class for the fall semester at St. Augustine's University, and those classes, they're going to be a lot smaller than they've been in past years. That's because of a big drop in enrollment. WRAL's Laura Levine explains that the start of the semester is coming 2 weeks later than expected.
It is welcome week here at St. Augustine's University. We know students moved in back on campus a few days ago, but classes begin today, 2 weeks later than initially scheduled. Interim President Marcus Burgess told WRAL they're expecting about 200 students for this semester. Taking a look at enrollment over the years, numbers from the National Center of Educational Statistics show 200 students would be less than 20% of St. Augustine's enrollment from the previous school year. This is a dramatic change from just 2 years ago when more than 1,000 students were enrolled. The big drop comes as the university works through a series of financial issues. Earlier this month, St. Augustine secured a loan that has helped ensure the school has funds to conduct classes for this semester. Burgess said the university was working to finalize funding to pay overdue student refunds and staff salaries from last semester. So several events are scheduled throughout the week, starting today at 6 p.m. to help students get engaged and drum up some of that enthusiasm for the new semester. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Time is 8:36. Protests in Israel and around the world, they are escalating. That's because of the announcement of the deaths of 6 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. People are calling for a ceasefire deal to secure the release of remaining hostages. Protesters jumped a fence at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's private residence last night. They want him to intensify negotiations with Hamas to reach a deal. In his first public address since the protest started Sunday, Netanyahu promised to get revenge against Hamas for the killings. President Joe Biden said that he is negotiating along with leaders from Egypt and Qatar to help broker a deal. When asked if he thinks Netanyahu is doing enough to reach an agreement, he said no. Today, UNC Chapel Hill leadership will give an update on its new emergency preparedness methods. The university's Director of Emergency Management and Planning will speak about the new efforts. Among them are improvements to the Alert Carolina notification and warning system. That will include additional ways to communicate and more frequent alerts. And an update on a new emergency preparedness module of instructors that is also expected. The online training helps prepare faculty and teaching assistants to respond to a crisis. And this is all happening just over a year after the on-campus shooting that killed an associate professor. Today, graduate workers from Duke, UNC, and NC State will join together in a call for fair wages. Today's rally comes just over a year after the formation of the Duke Graduate Students Union. It's the first union of its type at a private university in the South. Members say they are still working with Duke University on a collective bargaining agreement. They're calling on their fellow graduate workers from UNC and NC State to help push for progress at the bargaining table. The rally is happening at noon today, and that is in front of Duke Chapel. Today, the group that owns PNC Arena will meet with Raleigh City Council and the Wake County Commission. Representatives from the Centennial Authority will give both boards an update about the $300 million PNC Arena enhancement project. Last month, we got our first look at what the arena could look like in the future. The new facility could include grab-and-go markets for food and retail, plus more parking. Renderings also featured a beer garden, a team store, even a VIP lobby. Renovation is expected to start next summer. The Raleigh City Council meeting is at 1 o'clock, and the Wake County Commission meeting is at 5 this evening. We're working to learn how a man died after Halifax police say he bonded out of jail, stole a car, and then disappeared Saturday. Investigators say teams recovered the body of Mohammed Dabiani from the Roanoke River yesterday. Dabiani was booked into the Halifax County Jail on Saturday for trespassing, and then he bonded out. Well, they say after he was released, he stole a car from the Dollar General on Highway 301 in Halifax County. His family reported him missing shortly after, and the car was later found on Sunday. The U.S. Embassy in Turkey says at least 15 people have been detained because 2 U.S. Marines were assaulted. Authorities say a nationalist group in Turkey attacked them. This happened yesterday. The Turkey youth group TGB posted this video you're seeing on social media. It shows a group holding down a man on the street and putting a white hood over his head. Authorities confirmed the men are Marines on board the USS Wasp. A White House spokesperson said Washington was troubled by the assault, but added that it was, quote, appreciative that Turkish police are holding those responsible accountable. A Paralympian from North Carolina is coming home with a gold medal. As we're taking a live look at Paris this morning, Morgan Stickney from Cary won gold there. She has a very rare condition that prevents a sufficient amount of blood from reaching her limbs. She won the women's 400-meter freestyle yesterday. She set a Paralympic record in the process. And get this, her teammate, Mackenzie Cohen, joined her on the podium taking the silver medal. Just a reminder, you still do have time to grab a Mega Millions ticket. Tonight's jackpot is up to $681 million. Here's the deal. Nobody won Friday's drawing, so the new cash out option is $336 million. The next drawing is tonight at 11 p.m., and yes, you can watch it live on WRAL. High chocolate prices are leaving consumers with a bitter taste. This morning, what one company is doing to fight the shortage and save you money. Plus, get well wishes for 49ers player Ricky Pearsall are going to the wrong person. The message a 12-year-old wants to share with the NFL star after realizing he got his old number. And let's go ahead and get you a live look at Wake Forest. You know what? As warm days and cool nights roll in, so has another round of pollen. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shares more about the return of ragweed pollen. You know what, Raleigh? You've been good. That's why we're showing you this beautiful shot this morning. As a camera looking live outside, you can see the sun just a bit, getting you an idea of what it looks like. A little deceptive, though. It's not quite hot right now. It's feeling like fall, quite frankly. We've got meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She knows what I'm talking about. It definitely feels like it, but I know it's going to warm up today.
It is so pretty out there right now. We take a live look across Wake County. We're looking across from the eastern part of the county toward the western part of the county. Right here is actually downtown Raleigh, but boy, you can see the sky there, completely blue, looking gorgeous. Temperature in the mid-60s in the triangle with a dew point of 54. The dew point is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere, and when it's nice and low in the 50s, it feels very comfortable. We'll be in the mid-70s at lunchtime, and when the kids get off the bus this afternoon, we'll be in the upper 70s. But tomorrow morning is going to be cooler. We've mainly been in the low to mid-60s this morning. We're going to drop it solidly, like almost everywhere, into the 50s tomorrow morning. So the kids may need just a long sleeve shirt with their shorts and t-shirts tomorrow. And then Thursday and Friday, temperatures are back into the 60s. Look at this beautiful sunset from last night. Wendy Wilberg sent us this from RDU, maybe coming home from a great holiday weekend. We would love to see your Weather Watcher photos. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and it'll walk you through how to upload some photos for us. Take a picture of what you're doing at lunchtime today. I mean, so nice out there, mid-70s, sunshine. Of course, it feels perfect with our low humidity. Get outside and kind of keep that holiday feel maybe going if you can get outside and kind of get away for a minute at lunchtime. 79 as the kids are getting off the bus this afternoon in Raleigh, 78 in Durham, and 81 in Fayetteville. Our muggy meter starts to climb, especially by Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're going to notice a difference, but that's because we're going to see more moisture in the atmosphere because of a front coming through, and it's going to help to bring us a better chance of showers and thunderstorms. Ahead of that, this high pressure system is keeping things dry, but also a little on the breezy side with some gusts this afternoon, 15 to 25 miles per hour. You can see how that starts to taper off around the time of the evening commute, but expect today certainly to feel breezy. It also feels cool. We look at the blue color contours as areas where temperatures are below normal. Watch how we get a really good push of that into next week. Those dark blue colors really showing up with some well below normal temperatures. How many days in the 90s are in the 7-day forecast? Big old 0. I think that's not making anybody sad, probably. Our current forecast has an 8-day stretch of 90-degree free days. And the last time we saw that was May 27th to June the 3rd. So feeling good out there. Great for outdoor music. Of course, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we get into a small chance for thunderstorms. 30% chance Thursday, 20 Friday, and 40 on Saturday. We're looking at scattered storms, not looking at a big washout like we saw on Sunday. But keep your eye on the forecast if you're going to be headed to Hopscotch, big, very popular festival. Next couple of days are feeling great. Sunday and Monday also feeling great, too, with low humidity.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. As summer comes to an end, the number of full-time lifeguards are being scaled back on North Carolina beaches. Starting today at Wrightsville Beach, the number of working lifeguards, it's dropping from 14 to 6. Now, it's worth reminding, while the number of lifeguards goes down, the danger in the water does not.
This time of year, unfortunately, there's typically, less lifeguards, but the conditions are still extremely dangerous. Just because there is no storms and it seems completely calm, rip currents can occur at any time.
Lifeguards will be stationed and patrolling at every other stand on the beach. They urge swimmers to stay near the staffed stands. You also want to pay attention to warning flags during the peak of hurricane season. 6 people were stung by jellyfish on Oak Island this weekend. On Saturday, Oak Island Fire shared this purple beach warning flag about dangerous fish or marine life in the water. They say 6 people were treated for stings consistent with a jellyfish. The start of September means warm days turn into cool nights, but that also comes with the return of seasonal allergies for some people. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is here to explain a little bit more about the return of ragweed pollen and how it stays in North Carolina just a little bit longer than normal there, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. That's a trend that we've noticed over the past several years, past several decades, and a lot of us starting to clear our throat, sneeze a little bit here at WRAL. I'm sure a lot of you guys are feeling that too. Here's the latest observation of the pollen levels from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. And you see ragweed and even some tree pollen pretty high. The grass pollen, not a huge issue, but this is really not surprising. That orange line is the trend line from April through October with regards to pollen activity in North Carolina. And you can see we're pretty much at the peak of ragweed season. That's something that continues into October. So why does it continue into October? That's when, on average, we see our first fall freeze. You see that blue? That's our area. On average, it happens anytime between October 21st and Halloween. Now, that's just a long-term average. When you look at the past 10 years, 9 of the last 10 years, Our first fall freeze has happened in November, happening later and later over the past 10 years. So we decided to consult with the folks at Climate Central, and that's a trend that we've seen since 1970. So since then, the growing season for things like ragweed has been extended by 18 days. So that means the pollen season now is about 3 weeks longer than maybe it was 50 or so years ago. So I know for myself, I'm going to head to the store, get some allergy medicine, and hope that ragweed goes away and that we get one of those frosts in mid to late October.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. 2 Russian missile strikes hit central Ukraine, the city of Poltava. It's about 200 miles southeast of the capital city of Kyiv. And President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling this a barbaric strike. I want to show you the video that is just coming into the WRAL Live Center right now. It killed 41 people, wounded 180 others. And the air raids sounded, but it happened so quickly that a lot of folks were running to bomb shelters there. Some were rescued, but the strike appears to be one of the deadliest carried out by Russian forces since the war began more than 900 days ago.
Russia being relentless after Ukraine made some foot ground over into Russian territory. Thank you, Jeff. Researchers in California are working on ways to help combat the cocoa shortage. Scientists say the climate change is actually creating hostile conditions in South American and African rainforests. That's where cocoa beans grow. Well, this has caused cocoa prices to skyrocket, meaning you pay more for chocolate. Now, to combat the issue, researchers at California Cultured have designed a special technique to grow cocoa beans within a week.
A cutting of the cocoa bean, put them onto plates, and we trick basically the cocoa cells to grow and divide. And after a certain level of growth, we're able to harvest that and transform that into chocolate.
California Cultured is hoping to sell its lab-grown chocolate products next year. Get well soon text for 49ers player Ricky Pearsall. They're reaching the wrong person. 12-year-old Lincoln Schreck is the new owner of Pearsall's old phone. His number, that is. Lincoln said that he received some interesting messages last month after he activated his new phone, but he just kind of dismissed them at the time. However, it wasn't until last week when the wide receiver was shot in an attempted robbery that Lincoln started to connect the dots. He says that he has received at least 100 messages meant for the star player.
I want Ricky to know that the world loves him, apparently, because it's just, I'm praying for you. We love you, man. Just hope you get better.
Lincoln's mom said this is his first cell phone, and the family hopes to share the story. That way, it can prevent more texts in the future going to the wrong phone. A new movie starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore is getting more praise at the Venice Film Festival. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
The longest ovation yet at this year's Venice Film Festival goes to The Room Next Door. Director Pedro Almodovar's first English-language film, starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore, reportedly received a 17-minute standing O. The film from the trio of Oscar winners is due in U.S. theaters in December.
What happened? I just don't want the life I have sometimes.
A woman with a family history of mental health issues attempts suicide, then struggles to survive and to want to survive in Continue. Writer-director Nadine Crocker stars in the drama alongside Shiloh Fernandez and Emily Deschanel. Continue debuts in theaters and on VOD and digital platforms Friday. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.